basketball fans, it's me, DC, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer to help you get ready for Week 18 of the Fantasy Basketball and NBA regular season. Week 18 on most platforms is combined because we have the All-Star break. So we've got this short little thing. I don't need this ball anymore. I'll throw it to my sidekick back there. Yeah, you got it, Jerv? Okay. So it's combined on most platforms. Not everything, but definitely ESPN and Yahoo. Daily change leagues, you can still tweak it, but your move limits, like weekly changes and stuff, might be limited. Depends on platform. You got to check it. Yahoo, if you're in a weekly locks league, lets you change it. ESPN in the past has not. I actually don't know what it does this season. If someone's playing on there and in weekly lock leagues, which I understand that Venn diagram might not be a perfect circle, leave it in the comments. It'll help everyone and it'll help me to know. I do not know every other site, fantrax, whatever, because I'm not on those platforms this year and they're not paying me. If they want to pay me to sell out and talk about the platform more, sure, we can see that. That could happen. Anyway, we're going to get into a bunch of trade deadline deals because that's going to affect the waiver wire. But first, we want to break down the schedule, the beefed up schedule that spans 2 weeks and really just kind of equals a normal week. But there is a lot of opportunity to get an edge by people that aren't paying attention. But first, we will talk about pace and defensive efficiency. Do this as we do every week. I combine pace from ESPN and defensive efficiency, except it's not actually every week. I have switched pace to pull from the NBA website, which has slightly different numbers. It did not really change our teams at the top or bottom, but does change the math a little bit. Part of the reason I did the switch is they allow me to do filters, and there was enough trades of ancillary pieces right at the deadline that after we get back from break, I'm probably going to switch this to start using pace and defensive efficiency post trade deadline. So we're going to actually see some numbers move. They've been cemented. I don't think tons are like, obviously the Nets look very different than they did 2 weeks ago. That said, if any, they were already one of the best defenses numerically. And now it's a whole team of 3-and-D wing defenders, basically. So I don't think that's going to change, but I would like to use those numbers because there could be notable differences for Dallas, Phoenix, Lakers, Nets, a bunch of teams. So we're going to try and start to incorporate that. Defense efficiency comes from cleaning the glass. Put them together. Teams at the top in the green, there's teams you want to go after. Attack them in DFS. If you're looking to bet some overs on a sports book, when these teams match up, that's what you want to get after, right? Down at the bottom, Cleveland, Miami, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly. They're the teams you don't want. Another little tiny change is I added gradient colors to the greens because in the past, over 108 was great. This is record-setting offensive season for the league. It's been trending this way anyway, and we're still going up. Who knows how long it goes. So I made the cutoff at 108.5. That's still a lot of teams, so I made some differences, and then I copied those differences over onto the schedule. Let's take a look at Week 18. So here's what we're looking at. And again, how you use this is going to differ based on your league settings. The link is down below. You can always check it. Also, it's also break and come back and watch the video. If it's so nice, watch it twice. Whatever. I'll take some views. No biggie. So Chicago and Washington are the only teams that have 3 games at the start for this first half of the week. No one has 3 and 3. No one gets 6. But anyone who has 3 in either half does have an edge if you can make a pickup and use them all the way. That said, just because they have 5 doesn't mean that all of them are good streaming weeks. You can get better use, and we will talk about it when we talk about streaming, out of, say, Washington or the Bucks or someone in this first half of the week based on how the games fall across the 2 halves. Like I already said, use this grid to attack specific matchups or split hairs. You're wondering, which way do I want to go? And you see that Charlotte on Wednesday plays against San Antonio. These are 2 teams in green, San Antonio being the team you most want to go against. Charlotte being fast-paced, not a great defense. They also made some moves there too. I'm more interested in that than, say, Detroit's a great matchup for Boston. Boston will be playing up in speed, but you don't like Detroit against Boston, right? There's a green versus a red team, if you will, and take those things into consideration. That's what to use this for. Let's go look at back-to-backs. With the All-Star break, there's not a ton of back-to-backs. If you're trying to make some pickups, Warriors start off. Warriors, Orlando, Portland, Washington. Warriors have an interesting one. Washington and the Clippers. There's a couple little next it's Boston just for the midweek. Chicago after that. No other real options there. And then everything else is after the All-Star break. Then you get some Thursday, Friday, some Saturday, Sunday. A couple, a little bit of everything that you could look at. Guys are going to get some rest if they're hurt. They're not playing. It's All-Star game. You might lose some guys here on that Wednesday and Thursday. Hopefully, for me, we don't lose any Atlanta against the Knicks on Wednesday because we're taking the family down and crossing another arena off my list. But beyond that, you might miss some guys. So stay on top of it going into Wednesday and Thursday. Some people might just, teams give guys an extra rest and that turns it into like 7 days off for them. You don't want to lose minutes. Minutes played is the most important. And this week, with the goofiness that it is, you can really get an edge by staying on top of it. For the teams we worry about for back-to-backs, I almost said Clippers, like Pavlovian, accidental Freudian slip, whatever we want to call it. No Clippers back-to-back, no Lakers back-to-back, no New Orleans back-to-back. Golden State actually has 2 sets of back-to-back. So despite the fact that they have 5 games this week, someone like Clay might only play 3, which is a huge change when it's this weird week where you can even move, say, from Chicago to Cleveland with your little pickups and try and create a 6-game week if you only then get 3 out of someone like Clay. You got to be ready to make those kind of moves. Be wary of the teams with 1, Detroit, Memphis, Sacramento, Toronto on the first half. No one's got only 1 game for the next week. And so while 2s are bad and they're red based on my normal color scheme, I didn't change it. That is the norm. You can see the differences here. I don't think I have to go too far. If you got questions, leave them down below. Hit me up on Twitter. So streaming is really where it's at, right? Quality games, less than 8. Let's go through it. Monday, 11, Tuesday, 5, Wednesday, 10, Thursday, 3, Thursday, 9, Friday, 8, which is right on that cusp. More than half the league is playing, but a lot of those teams will be rested. Very few, like Cleveland, have a back-to-back coming into it. Saturday, 7, Sunday, 9. So Tuesday, Thursday, the first half, Friday, Saturday in the second half. Teams with that back-to-back Friday, Saturday are real nice. So you're talking about Charlotte, Miami, New York for week 2. They've got that back-to-back. Think about it like Wednesday night. Most of the teams play Wednesday. There's 10 teams. And there's only 3 on Thursday. You can make that move then. Plan for the Friday, Saturday back-to-back where you make 1 pickup. They just sit on your bench throughout the All-Star break. Do you miss Thursday? Sure, but there's 9 teams going. You're probably okay. You get that back-to-back, you play them both, and then you flip them to Sunday. You've created value in your daily change leagues that will make an impact. Out of those teams, I find New York the most interesting because they get Washington and the Pelicans. Miami obviously is a slower pace, and then Miami plays against Charlotte in one of them. So I like the Knicks if there's a pickup there for you. Take a look at Hart or something like that. Schedule-wise, overall, they're pretty spread out. I'm wearing Bucks, which usually gives you a tip-off of I think they've got a great schedule for this week. Milwaukee has 4 games total, but 3 are on the good streaming days. Unfortunately, it's Boston, Chicago. That matchup's fine. Miami and Phoenix. They're spread out. You get 3 good streaming days on that. Washington's got a great schedule too, and they actually get 5. So 5 games, 3 on the good streaming days. That is valuable over, say, OKC. That also gets 5 games, but only 1 on the good streaming days. You'll definitely work in Washington players if Denny or someone is still out there that'll provide value and easily fill some holes. Take a look at that because I might not dive as deep for someone valuable, but if they're coming off the bench and they're getting him, whatever, 10 points and 5 assists, something like that. But that's a lot better than 0, and that's going to add up across their 3 streaming days. And then maybe you even work them in on Sunday against Chicago, and you got 4 games out of some ancillary piece that isn't going to make my waiver wire because I'm trying to cast a larger net or talk about performances or trade things that opened up. That's going to be a little different than what's available on your league. Heck, I've got Duran available. I mean, this is Detroit. I'm switching in one of my leagues, and I'm looking to pick him up because he's like top 50 in fantasy numbers over the last 30 days. Every league's different. Even competitive leagues, sometimes people fall through the cracks. With that out of the way, onto the waiver wire. Last week, I didn't have a lot of names for you. I've said, keep your powder dry, get ready to go. I only have 1 real name I want you to look at, Cam Thomas. Did you pick him up? That would be great. I said I watch him. It's another perk of, like, I know some of you guys want the videos to come out sooner. I wish my schedule allowed all of them to come out sooner, but one of the perks of waiting longer than all the people who publish articles on, like, Friday and stuff, which I get, it's a job and you got a real weekend life. You're not all doing it like me late. Is I get to see what's happened on the weekend. I saw Cam Thomas. I was watching it Saturday night, recorded it. I was like, hey, I don't think it's so long. He's got a good schedule. Pick it up. So we don't have to dig into Cam Thomas more. I know you know what's going on. I assume you know what's going on if you're a fantasy player and you're watching this channel. I think he was a good pickup last week. I think he's a trade. Sell high as you can. It's already come down, right? 44, 47, 43. Then he got 20. Then he got 14 points. This is our Linsanity moment. Could he keep it up now that they made the deals that we couldn't quite foresee? Maybe. I don't think he's going to keep getting 40, which is what I said before. But he could be instant offense, microwave type performance for them. So I don't think he's useless. But if someone wants to pay you high for what they just saw, do it. Take that deal. Anyway, He's 78%. He's still there for about a quarter of leagues. Most of the more competitive leagues, he's not going to be out there. And I don't want you guys paying high on it. I think it's fine. Enjoy the Linsanity. It's cool to watch a guy make a bunch of shots. And he's doing it super efficiently. I'm not taking anything away from it. But this now feels like old news. We were early. Hopefully you got in on some of it. I didn't grab him in every league, despite recommending it. It was a fun little bubble. Let's not go too crazy with it. He's still my number one. If he's out there, grab it. Let's see what goes. Otherwise, my number two is Colin Sexton. Connolly was traded away from Utah. This could open it up for him. I was high on Sexton coming into the fantasy draft. That was one of my bigger misses. I wasn't like so high, like take him in the top 5 rounds. I definitely grabbed him. He's been disappointing. I cut him in a league, and now the opportunity is there again. Getting 22-5-5, 22-5-6. The screenshot's already at the end of the third, so I'm guessing he probably ended right around there, 15-5. Nothing crazy to write home about, but you can see the minute increase. That's really what I'm showing you here on the stat sheet. 78% roster, only available in 20% of leagues. He's made this jump as people notice Connolly's gone. Let's see what happens. It's worth scooping up. It's not just Connolly. Beasley's gone. Vanderbilt's gone. They're going to need more help. Hopefully this can give you kind of empty fantasy stats. I mean, valuable fantasy stats. Empty NBA stats. I don't know where Utah's going from here. It's a shame. They've been a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully they'll stay fun to watch. They got Laurie. They got their all-star in there as they host. So good for them. Thought they were going to be worse this season, but also, you know, for the Jazz organization, bumping up those draft pick odds a little bit is not going to help. They made some good trades here. 3 on my list was not affected by the trade deadline at all. Jalen Williams, 58% rostered. I'm surprised it's not a little higher because I assume a lot of people were watching LeBron break the scoring title. Jalen did awesome that game. 25-7, 6 steals. They probably jumped on that a little bit, but still 58% rostered. I like Jalen coming in. I took him in my Dynasty League and been hanging on to him. I traded a lot of younger guys and hung on to him. I still like Shaden Sharp and had to trade him too, but that's a deeper thing. I think he's worth taking a look and hoping it goes. Is it going to be a consistent ride? No, I don't think so. But 13-4-6 with 3 steals. He had 3 steals 2 games before that, even though he was 8-5. Love him for a category league. Also like him for a points league. I think if you don't agonize over every individual game, there's going to be a lot of value here as they push towards the end of the season. I'm hoping they aren't shutting everyone down. I don't expect them to shut down SGA this year because he's making an all-NBA push, and he's been a good soldier for the team as they've been taking. I think it'd be unreasonable for them to ask him to sit down for the last month when he's making an all-NBA push for how great his season is. First-time All-Star. If they're playing him, they probably want to play Jalen. This is just a guess. Don't cut anything major, but I think he's available in 40% of leagues and better than some of the speculative names we're going to talk about. Sticking with the consistency of what we know, Dante DiVincenzo's 4th on my list, 50% roster, available in half of leagues. Curry's out. I like him more in a category league because it's really about 3-pointers. Am I recommending a guy after he just got 5 and 3 assists and only 1 3-pointer? Yeah, but he's also 5 on my list. But 18 before that, 14 before that with the 7 assists. I'm not expecting the 7 assists. You got to go back to the Toronto 12 and 11 assists. You're looking for between 1 and 4 assists, but between like 2 and 5 3-pointers. And he's not going to hurt you in the percentages on most nights. I understand he just had a bad game. I think he's a fine pickup. Golden State's got a good schedule overall for the week. You get the 5 games. Like I said, they've got the 2 sets of back-to-backs. So even if you just picked him up to start the week or as the All-Star deadline or All-Star games are going on, grab him while you're bored with guys missing 6 dunks in a row and be ready for the next part of week 2. I think he'll get you some 3-pointers. Then you cut him and move on to the next thing. So Charlotte granted our fantasy wishes and sent Plumlee out. Then they went even further and sent McDaniels away. Mark Williams and Nick Richards, to a lesser extent, is available for a bunch of minutes now, or I should say a bunch of minutes are available for him. 52% of you have him already rostered in your league, but that means about half the leagues he is available. Do I think it's a surefire thing? No. He just did like a game. We're looking at 6 and 5 in the screenshot. Before that was 11 and 12. It's just a solid center that if he's playing on the right days, that you can pick him up and plug him in, and we hope for more. I'm interested in the possibility of getting a late season ad that helps you more than a known commodity that I know you're going to kick off your team for the next streaming option. So I think he's worth a grab if his schedule matches yours right now. Not great in the first half of week 18, but they got the Minnesota Miami back to back on that Friday, Saturday. I think you pick him up, hope to see more, give it a week and a half, see what happens. If not, then move on. Otherwise, just Zach Collins is sitting right there for the Spurs. We talked about him briefly before. If they trade Jakob Poeltl, wore the Poeltl shirt because I thought he was leaving the Spurs. That happened. 48% rostered. Again, available in half of leagues. You got 29-11. It was against Detroit, albeit. Next game, well, again, prepped last night. It's showing 9-5. There was only 7 minutes left in this game. I actually was watching it live as I was grabbing the screenshots and doing the research for the show. He ended up with 9-5. It's not crazy. But, somewhere between 29-11 and the 9-5 is probably what you could hope for. Look for 14 points and like between 8 and 11 rebounds and like 2 to 4 assists seems reasonable for their center. And that's a nice little thing in a category league. Is he going to blow you away? No. He jumped 28%, which I understand people are rolling the dice. He's going to be above that streaming cutoff. So I think he'd be valuable to grab all season, but I don't think he's going to be so far that you'll regret it if you miss out on it. All right. If you're in a deeper league and have sat through all that and those obvious names, we are now getting more available. I'm curious what happens with Portland. Cam Reddish, 12% rostered. If he gets these minutes, we've seen him do well with a lot of minutes before, but the Knicks were not giving him that, and they might have good reason. He's 12% roster. About 90% of you could go out and pick him up and see what happens. He got 17 minutes. He was able to put up 11 and 2. That per minute fantasy, getting you 2 3-pointers, could be valuable. Would I hate personally seeing more Shaedon Sharpe? No, I'm very interested in that prospect to see where he goes and develops, especially because he was such an enigma coming in without getting, college and G League and all that stuff. So I'm not sure where Portland's going with that, but 12% rostered, I think he's worth the risk. I definitely picked him up in one of my own leagues. He was only 2% rostered when the trades happened. Let's see what happens. If you are skeptical and want to put him on your watch list, I think that's fine. But if it turns out that he's doing what we just saw Sexton doing, of getting you like 22, 4 and 4 for like the rest of the season, that wouldn't shock me. I'm not expecting that. Maybe 15, 4 and 4 is a bit more realistic, but I think that's possible and available in 90% of leagues. All right, 92% of leagues, Talon Horton-Tucker, THT. If you remember him still on the Lakers, there was a time he was fantasy viable where he's getting the extra minutes. Utah made the changes. We already talked about Colin Sexton earlier. 23, 2 and 7. Before that, 9, 7, 8. Before that, 15, 1 and 6. He was basically doing nothing before. He's available in over 90% of leagues. This is showing he jumped up 7%, so it's 1% ownership, and that sounds right. There could be something here. Do I think he's going to revolutionize the team? No. You pick him up, you don't think about it too hard, and hope that he keeps doing the fancy numbers, and if he doesn't, you move on. Don't cut someone good for it. Like, if you're frustrated with Chris Middleton being in and out, don't cut it for these guys here at the end of the list. I'm talking like Herb Jones still hanging on your roster. Maybe you make the change here. This is the type of move where you could start getting some more production for like nothing, for free. It's possible Josh Green should have been higher than the last couple of names on the list. He's had a nicer stretch here with Dallas. 30% roster available in 70% of leagues. 17, 4 and 7, 14, 5 and 1, 29, 6 and 2. It's just a little hard for me to know exactly what we're seeing with Dallas. Luka and Kyrie are there together now. Luka's actually back. He wasn't playing for a little bit with his heel. Josh Green still played in the game and did something. 17, 4 and 7. Nothing to laugh at. 58% from the floor. 71% before that. 58% before that. I definitely think he's worth a look. I understand the spike in ownership jumped 25%. I'm not going nuts because I don't know what we're going to see. Dallas has 4 games in this combined week. None on the good streaming days. But if something like this keeps up, that is a potential for a full season ad, but I don't know yet. So take the grain of salt. Like if you say, oh man, I miss out on Cam Thomas, despite him saying it, and you want to grab Josh Green and give him the chance for All-Star Week and see what happens, I think that's totally valid because there could be a lot more upside here than me like squinting at Cam Reddish and hoping to see something else. Couple flyers I just want to throw out, probably more watch list. Terrence Ross hasn't been playing with Orlando at all. Sounds like he's probably going to get bought out. We'll see where he lands. We've seen him be useful before in fantasy. Don't grab him now, but watch it. Hit the flag on there. Let's see what happens. I could see that being valuable if he lands in the right place. Mo Bamba is with the Lakers now. He was basically also out of Orlando's rotation completely. I'm curious what that happened. Like, I could see that being an interesting fit. He hasn't brought the defense as much as, like, if you play 2K and play with Mo Bamba, you would expect that. And then For Orlando, the team wasn't great there. The only time their defense was great with him on the floor is when he was playing with another big. But, you know, they got Anthony Davis and stuff. It's possible that they get more use out of him, but they also have Vanderbilt. I can't tell you how many minutes they're going to give him, so I'm not cutting anything yet. I think it's just a watch list, but if you see a big game and get excited, I think it's fine to jump on him and then give him like 3 more games and see what happens, and then just cut bait or be happy you got in early. So watch list for Ross, watch list for Mo Bamba. Thank you for watching. Questions, comments down below, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to hit the road. Like I said, I'm going to Atlanta for the All-Star break. Catch that Atlanta Knicks game before they go on break, and I will be back. I will not make a video next weekend because we will be on break. Unless I get impulsive, maybe I'll just do a short 5-minute recap or something like that. Otherwise, I want you to go out there and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you.